students, welcome to Science Learning Gateway. I hope you all are doing good. So today we are going to start a new chapter for class 8 science, and the name of the chapter is Describing Motion. This chapter number 8, and the name is Describing Motion. This chapter is a very important chapter, and this is from physics. Till now the chapters which we have read were from chemistry or from biology, but this is a new chapter which is from physics. So we'll start this chapter today, and this is very important also, as this chapter again you are going to read in class 9, so you should have all the concepts of this chapter, the terms you should understand, so that you will not face any problem in your higher classes. So this chapter is related to motion. In 9th standard again you will read this chapter. In 10th standard also some of the basic concepts will be there from this chapter, so you should have a good concept, good idea about this chapter, and this chapter will carry good marks also in your exam. If you learn all the things in this chapter, the numericals, formulas, everything, then you can score good marks in your exam. So let's start with our chapter. Before starting, guys, I have a small request from you all. If you're really liking my tutorial, then please like it and share it with your friends, and don't forget to click on the bell icon so that whenever I will be uploading a new video, you'll get the notification for that. And if you're new to my channel, then please subscribe my channel so that you'll get all the information related to class 8. And I have also started the chapters of geography section also. You can check those chapters in the playlist of class 8 geography. If it is helpful for you, then please like on those videos also. Okay, so let's start with our chapter. First of all, we'll talk about rest and motion. So what are these two terms, rest and motion? Many times you have heard that I'm taking rest, right? Or he is taking rest, like that you have heard. So what is that rest and what is that motion? Okay, so we'll learn about these two terms, rest and motion. From the word rest, you all know that rest is something where the object cannot move. For example, if you will talk that I'm taking rest, I will not go to school, then that time what you are doing, you are at your home, you are not going to your school, you are not moving from your home, so you are at rest. For example, if we have kept one book in the table, that book is at rest because that book cannot move. For example, you have parked your cycle or bike in your garage or in the road, then that bicycle or car is at rest. If it is not moving, then it is at rest. Then again we can take the example of a car which is parked on the road. That is also an example of rest. Mountains, building, everything, they are on the rest because they cannot move. So though all those things are at rest. So what is the definition of rest? An object is said to be at rest if it does not change its position with respect to its surrounding and time. So which object will be at rest? If the object will not change its position with respect to what? With respect to its surrounding and time, then that object is said to be at rest. Example, you can write building, car parked on a road, because these objects are not changing their position with respect to their surrounding, means where they are present. Surrounding means what? The area where we are living or where we are present, and time. So this is the definition of rest. Next, now we are coming to our chapter describing motion. So what is the definition of motion? Motion means what? Movement. Okay, whenever anything will move, then that substance is said to be in motion. So what is the definition of motion? An object is said to be in motion if it changes its position with respect to its surrounding and time. Just opposite you have to write for motion. If the object will change its position with respect to its surrounding and time, these two words you have to write in the definition, surrounding and time, then that object is said to be in motion. Example, moving car, moving bicycle, moving buses, moving trains, everything which will move are in motion. Okay, for example, player who is running on the road, or someone is riding a bicycle on the road, then that those persons are also moving, so they are in motion. So what will be the definition of rest? If the object will said to be at rest if it does not change its position with respect to surrounding and time, and motion if the object will change its position with respect to surrounding and time. Sometimes the question is asked, write the difference between rest and motion. That time you can write the definition and give the example, so you can carry marks in that question. Next, rest and motion are relative terms. You can check in your textbook also that they have given are rest and motion relative terms. Now we'll understand this one with an example. An object which is at rest can also be in motion simultaneously. So what will be the answer of this question? Yes, rest and motion are relative terms, because an object which is at rest, it can be in motion also simultaneously. For example, two examples we'll consider over there. The passengers sitting in a moving train are at rest with respect to each other. Suppose you are going traveling somewhere with in a train, then you all will sit inside the train, then you all will be at rest with respect to each other, but they are also in motion at the same time with respect to the object like trees and building. But with respect to the trees and buildings which are outside the train, with respect to those trees and buildings, the train is moving, so the train is in motion. But with respect to the passengers who are sitting inside the train, they are in rest. Next example, we are taking about a pen. A pen kept on a table. Suppose we have kept one pen in the table. That pen is at rest because it is not moving. But as we know that that with respect to the table, the pen is at rest with respect to the table. But as we know that earth is moving, we all know that the earth is continuously moving. So if the object kept on the earth must also be moved with the earth, because table is present in the earth, we all are in the earth, in the planet earth. So if earth is moving, then all the objects which are kept in the earth is moving. So what we can say, that the pen is at rest and it is also at motion simultaneously. So what we have concluded from this, that the motion and rest are relative terms. Next we have the scalar and the vector quantities. So these are also very important term. You should remember this one. What are scalar quantities and what are vector quantities? So what are scalar quantities? Scalar quantity is a physical quantity which has only magnitude. So what are scalar quantity? They have only magnitude. Okay. Example, if we take length, mass, time, speed, distance, etc. These are the examples of scalar quantity. For example, if we will go to the shop, we will ask for that I want 5 meter of cloth or 10 meter of cloth, right? If you go to a vegetable shop, then what you will tell, that I need 2 kg of potato or 4 kg of potato. Then if we'll talk about time also, then it is 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. In all the things, only magnitude number is coming. 10 kg, 5 kg, 5 meter, 10 meter, or time 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Only numbers are coming. Numbers means magnitude. We are not talking about direction over there. So scalar quantities are those quantities which will have only magnitude. For example, speed, 30 kilometer per second. Whenever, for example, in school or any hospital building, they have written that this much, the vehicles which are crossing through the school or the hospital, they should maintain this much speed in that area. So that will be the speed of the vehicles. For example, a person is running with a speed of 10 meter per second. Okay, so that 10 meter per second, that is a speed. So it is only having a magnitude. Distance, if you are talking about the distance between your school and home, for example, it is 10 kilometer. So we are telling 10 kilometer, we are not talking about the direction. So distance is also a scalar quantity. So what are scalar quantity? Scalar quantities are those quantities which have only magnitude. Example, you can write length, mass, time, speed, distance. These are the examples of scalar quantity. Now what are vector quantities? Vector quantities are also a type of physical quantity which have both magnitude as well as direction. Means vector quantities will have magnitude also, but at the same time they will have direction also. For example, displacement, it will have magnitude also and that direction also. Velocity, force, acceleration. Suppose you are applying a force on this object. Okay, you are applying a force of 10 Newton. But in which direction you are applying the force? Suppose you are moving this object from this direction. So you are applying a force in this direction. So it is having some direction. So along with the magnitude, it is having a direction. So force is a vector quantity. So now I think you have understood what are scalar and vector quantities. Scalar quantity is a physical quantity which will have only magnitude, and vector quantity will have both magnitude as well as direction. For example, displacement. Suppose this is your a land. You want to go from this place to this place, from point A to B you want to go. You either, if you'll take this distance, but what will be the shortest distance? This is the shortest distance. The shortest distance is called displacement. So you are moving either in this direction, means you want to go from point B to point A. So you are moving in a particular direction, right? So this displacement is also having a direction. Velocity will also have direction. Like that, acceleration will also have direction. So vector quantities will have both magnitude and direction, but scalar quantities will have only magnitude. 2 or 3 examples you should remember for each scalar and vector quantities. Sometimes question asks, write the difference between scalar and vector quantity. Then you can easily write. Next, we have distance and displacement. These are also very important terms for your from your exam point of view. What is distance and what is displacement? So what is distance? The actual length of the path covered by an object is called distance. Means that distance is a total path, or the actual path covered by an object is called the distance. Suppose in this diagram you can see this is one point and this is one point. A person wants to cover this point to this point. He will take this area, this road, he will move like this, like this, like this, and he will reach this point. So this is called the distance. This is the actual length of the path covered by an object. But if he want to take a shortest distance, he want a shortcut to go from this point to this point, what he will do? He will take this distance. So this is called the displacement. So what is distance? The actual length of path covered by an object is called distance. Suppose we take this example. Okay, this is point A, B and C. A person wants to go from point A to C. How he will go? First he will go from point A to point B. After that from point B to point C. What will be the distance? 4 plus 3. 7 meter will be the distance. But if he want to take shortcut, then what he will do? He will directly take this route. So this will be the displacement. Displacement is the shortest distance covered by an object. But distance is the total length of the path covered by an object. For example, I have drawn one line like this. And this is the road to go from here to here. So the person will take this length to go from this one. So this will be the distance, and this is the shortest distance. This will be the displacement. So what is distance? Distance is the actual length of the path covered by an object is called the distance. Okay, it is the distance. Next, what will be the displacement? Displacement of object is the shortest distance between the initial and final position along with the direction. For example, this is the initial position. From here the person has started his travel and he has to reach the point C. So it is the shortest distance between the initial point. Initial means the starting point and final means the where he has to go. This is the final position. So the person will start from point A and he will reach the point B through a very short distance and with a particular direction. He is moving in this direction. So it is having a direction. So displacement is having direction. Since it is a vector quantity, so it will obviously have direction. Of a body, displacement of a body is the shortest distance between the initial and the final position along with the direction. So you have to remember, distance is the actual length of the part covered by an object and displacement is the shortest distance between the initial and final position along with the direction. For example, in this one you can see, if a person will go from here to here, okay, he is going from here to here, but again if he is coming back, then what will happen? Displacement will be 0 that time, but he is going from this point to this point and again he is coming back, then that time the distance will be, suppose this length to this length is 5 kilometer. Okay, this is the distance for that object, but again if he is coming back to this position, then that time displacement will be 0, but distance cannot be 0. We'll read the differences between distance and displacement. So through this diagram, I hope you all have understood that distance is the length of the actual path and displacement is the shortest distance. From this, suppose we have this triangle A. Suppose we have the triangle A, B and C. A person want to go from point C to point B. So what he will do? He will go like this and like this he will do. So this will be the distance, the length of the actual path. But if you want to take shortcut, then he will directly go from this point to this point. So this will be the displacement. The displacement is the shortest distance between the initial point and the final position along with the direction. So this was all about your distance and displacement. Next, now we'll compare distance and displacement. The differences between displacement and distance will read in this slide. Okay, this is also very important. Some generally questions are asked from this section also. Write the differences between distance and displacement, then you can write that time. Now, first one, what is distance? The first we will write the definition for both of them. Distance, the actual length of the path covered by an object is called distance. Okay, distance is the actual length of the part covered by an object. And what is displacement? It is the shortest distance between the initial and final position of the object. Distance is a scalar quantity. Displacement is a vector quantity. We have read that distance will always be positive, because suppose this point to this point, a person wants to go from here to here, then this will be the distance for that point. This it will be always positive. But if you want to come back to this one, then the displacement will zero, that will be that time. Displacement can be positive, negative, depending on the reference point. Okay, distance will be always positive, but displacement can be positive or negative. Distance cannot be zero. This is very important point. Distance cannot be zero, but displacement can be zero if the body comes back to the initial point. Suppose a person goes from this point to this point, but again if he comes back, once he went to this point to this point, then if again he comes back, then that time the displacement will be zero. So displacement can be zero. SI unit of distance is meter and SI unit of displacement is also meter. This is same for both of them. Okay, so this is the differences between distance and displacement. Next, we'll read about speed and velocity. What is speed and what is velocity? Many times you have heard it, the speed of this vehicle is this much, speed of the car is this much. So what is speed and what is velocity? Now we'll read. First, we'll talk about speed. What is speed? Speed is a distance traveled by an object in unit time. Okay, distance traveled by an object in unit time. So what is the formula of speed? Speed is equal to distance by time. You can write like this. Speed is equal to distance divided by time. You have to write distance divided by time. Okay, distance traveled by an object in unit time. Distance by time. From the formula you can write the definition. Right, so speed is a distance traveled by an object in unit time. Speed is equal to distance by time, and the SI unit of speed is meter per second, because the SI unit of distance is meter and the SI unit of time is second. So we can write meter per second. SI unit of speed is meter per second. Okay, if a body travels distance s, if you will represent distance with s and time with t, then what will be the speed? We used to represent speed with the alphabet v. Okay, small v. Distance with s and time with t, then your speed will be s by t. So this formula always you should remember. Speed is equal to distance by time. For example, in the question distance will be given, time will be given. If you want to calculate the speed, okay, then using this formula you can easily calculate. Suppose distance traveled by an object is 10 kilometer. Okay, time taken is 2 seconds. Calculate the speed. So how you will calculate the speed? Speed equals to distance by time. 2 ones are 2, 2 fives are 10. So you can easily write speed is equal to 5, sorry, this will be meter per second. This is your answer, right? So like this you can easily solve the numericals, but you should remember the formula. Speed is equal to distance by time. Next, what we have, speed is a scalar quantity. We have read that speed is a scalar quantity. Speed can be positive or zero, but never negative. Okay, speed, when the speed of the object will be zero when it is at rest. So it can be zero or positive, but speed is never negative. Speed of running car is measured by speedometer. One speedometer you all have seen in the cars or in the vehicles, that one circular type of speedometer is there in the vehicles, by which the speed of the cars are measured. Next, we'll talk about average speed. What is average speed? It is the ratio of total distance traveled to total time taken to cover this distance. For example, one numerical is there. So what is average speed? The formula of average speed is total distance traveled divided by total time taken. Like for example, we have written speed equals to distance by time. So average speed will be total distance traveled divided by total time taken. For example, one numerical example is given in your textbook. A bus covers a distance of 30 km in 1 hour. In the first hour, the bus has covered how much distance? 30 km. In the next 1 hour, means in next hour the bus covered 50 km. So what will be the total distance? We have to add both the distance. 30 plus 50, it will be 80 km. And what will be the total time? 1 hour plus 1 hour, 2 hours. The average speed will be total distance traveled divided by total time taken. Total distance is 80, total time is 2. So what will be the answer? 2 ones are 2, 240 is 80. 40 km per hour is your average speed, right? So like this, if in the question total distance will be given, total time will be given, you can calculate average speed easily. Next, we have uniform speed and variable speed. Variable speed is also known as non-uniform speed. Okay, so you remember that one. So what is uniform speed? If an object covers equal distance in equal interval of time, then it is said to have uniform speed. If the object will cover equal distance in equal interval of time, suppose he has covered 5 meter distance in 2 in 5 seconds. Again he has covered 5 meter distance in 2 minutes, then the distance is also same and interval is also same. That time the object will cover, then time the object is said to have uniform speed. If the object covers equal distance in equal interval of time, means suppose in 1 hour the object has covered 5 kilometer. Next again in next 1 hour he has covered 5 kilometer, then again in next 1 hour he has covered 5 kilometer. The same distance he is covering in same interval of time, so that time the object is having uniform speed. And what is variable speed? Variable speed is also known as non-uniform speed, just opposite of that. If an object covers unequal distance in equal interval of time, then it is said to have variable speed. Means over there the distance will be different but the interval of time will be same. Suppose an object has covered 5 kilometer distance in 2 hours, then in the next 2 hours he has covered only 2 kilometer distance, then again in the next 2 hours if he has covered 10 kilometer distance is different, unequal distance in equal interval of time, then that is called variable speed. Okay, so this was all about your uniform speed and variable speed. Remember that variable speed is also known as non-variable speed. Okay, next we'll talk about velocity. What is velocity? Velocity is a displacement of an object in unit time. Like we have read that speed is distance traveled in a unit time, distance by time. Like that only for velocity we have to compare it with displacement. In place of distance, over there we'll write displacement. Since velocity is a scalar vector quantity, displacement is also a vector quantity, so we'll compare velocity with displacement. What we have written in speed? Speed of an object is the distance traveled by an object in unit time. Like that, velocity is the displacement of an object in unit time. SI unit of velocity is also meter per second. Like speed, the SI unit of speed was meter per second. Like that, SI unit of velocity is also meter per second. So what will the formula of velocity? Distance traveled in a given direction divided by time taken. Displacement divided by time taken. Right? If a body travels a distance s, if we will take distance as s and time as t in a given direction, then its speed will be given by v is equal to its velocity will be given by s by t. Correct? So in this you have to compare velocity with displacement and time. Velocity is equal to displacement divided by time. Velocity is a vector quantity. You can remember like this: v for velocity, v for vector. Okay. Speed is a scalar quantity. S for speed, s for scalar. Velocity can be either positive, negative or zero. What we have read about speed? Speed can be positive or zero, but it will not be negative. But velocity can be negative also. We'll compare. We'll look at the differences between speed and velocity also. Next, what we have? Average velocity. Like that we have read about average speed, like that only we have average velocity also. What is average velocity? When a body moves with variable velocity, the average velocity of the body is the ratio of total displacement covered by it to the total time taken. In average velocity, what will be the formula? Total displacement covered divided by total time taken. Means we have to take two velocities over there: initial velocity plus final velocity divided by total time taken divided by 2. So you can write a formula of average velocity as initial velocity divided by final velocity divided by 2. If we take initial velocity as u and final velocity as v, the formula will be u plus v divided by 2. This is the formula for average velocity. And what will be its definition? If a body moves with variable velocity, variable means non-uniform velocity, the average velocity of the body is the ratio of total displacement covered divided by it to the total time taken, and formula will be initial velocity plus final velocity divided by 2. Okay. Next we have uniform and non-uniform velocity. So what are the definitions for uniform and non-uniform velocity? A velocity is said to be moving, a body is said to be moving in uniform velocity if it travels in a specified direction in a straight line and moves over equal distance in equal interval of time, no matter how small these time intervals may be. So when we can say that the body is moving with uniform velocity, when it will move in a straight line and it will cover equal distance in equal interval of time, that time the body will have uniform velocity. right? And non-uniform velocity or variable velocity, a body is said to be moving with non-uniform velocity if its speed or its direction or both changes with time. Okay, uh, if the speed of the body or its direction will change with time, that time the body will have non-uniform velocity. Next, we have the differences between speed and velocity. In this section, we'll compare the differences between speed and velocity. The first point for speed, we have to write the definition. Speed is the rate of change of distance. Okay. Speed we have read, speed equals to distance by time. So it is the rate of change of distance, and velocity is the rate of change of displacement, because for velocity we used to write displacement divided by time, right? Speed tells nothing about the direction of the motion of the body. Yes, correct. Speed will not tell anything about the direction of the body, but velocity will tell about the direction of motion of the body. Speed is a scalar quantity, and velocity is a vector quantity. S for speed, S for scalar, V for velocity, V for vector. Like that you can remember. Speed of a body can be positive or zero. Okay, speed of the body can be positive or zero, but velocity of the body can be positive, negative or zero. Okay, but speed will never be negative, but velocity will be, it can be negative. So these are the differences between speed and velocity. This is also very important. Maybe question will be asked, write the differences between speed and velocity in your exam. So that time you can easily write that if you remember. Next we have acceleration. What is acceleration? Okay, acceleration can be defined as rate of change of velocity. It is also very easy. It is defined as rate of change of velocity. Now we have to compare this acceleration with velocity, and its SI unit is meter per second square. You can also write meter per second square like this. Meter per second square. Meter per second square. Like this you can write meter per second square, or you can write like this also. So SI unit will be meter per second square. Now what is the formula for acceleration? Rate of change of velocity, right? We have read that rate of change of velocity, change in velocity divided by time taken for change. So what we can write change in velocity? It is final velocity minus initial velocity. Why we have written final velocity? Because final velocity will be always more than the initial velocity. Final minus initial, because whenever we used to subtract anything, we have to subtract it from the final only. Final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time taken. Suppose the initial velocity is u and the final velocity is v and time taken is t, and we used to represent acceleration with small a. Okay, remember this one. Acceleration will always be represented with small alphabet of a. V minus u by t. Final velocity is v, small v, and initial velocity is u, and t is the time. So your acceleration will be v minus u by t. Remember this formula, this is very important. Okay, change in velocity divided by time taken for change. So change in velocity you can write as final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time taken, v minus u by t. Suppose in the question v will be given, u will be given, t will be given, you can calculate acceleration. Suppose in the question acceleration will be given, time will be given, and u will be given, then you can calculate the final velocity v also from this formula. So you have to remember this formula. A is equals to v minus u by t. V is your final velocity, u is initial velocity, and t is the time taken. Acceleration is a vector quantity. When we have read about scalar and the vector quantity, that time only I have told you that acceleration is an example of vector quantity. It can be positive, negative or zero. Acceleration of a body is zero when it moves with uniform velocity. Whenever the body will move with uniform velocity, that time acceleration will be zero. Okay, so this was all about your acceleration. You should remember the definition: rate of change of velocity, SI unit meter per second square, and this formula. Final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time taken, and it is a vector quantity. Next, equation of motion, the last topic of your textbook, right? What three equations of motions are there? Those three equations you should remember for solving the numericals. First equation of motion is v is equals to u plus at. V is our final velocity, u is our initial velocity, a is acceleration, and t is time. All the alphabet you have to write with small alphabet only. The second equation of motion is SA is equal to ut plus half at square. S is the distance traveled, u is your again initial velocity, t is the time, a is acceleration, again t is the time. Next, third equation of motion is v square minus u square is equal to 2as. V is your final velocity, U is your initial velocity, A is acceleration, and S is the distance traveled. These are the three equations of motion. V is equals to U plus AT, S is equal to UT plus half AT square, and third one is V square minus U square is equal to 2S. The derivation of the formulas you don't have to read in 8th standard. In 9th standard we'll read about the derivation of the formulas. That time we'll derive these formulas, that how we have got these formulas, right? These are the three equations of motion you should remember. For example, in the question, initial velocity will be given, acceleration will be given, time will be given, then that time you can easily calculate this final velocity. Okay, and suppose in the question V will be given, A will be given, T will be given, then you can easily calculate your initial velocity, right? So you should remember the formula to solve the numericals. If you want, I will make a separate video for numericals also. Now, graphical representation of motion. In this, we have to read about how we will represent the represent distance, time, or velocity time graph with the help of graphs. First, we'll take about distance time graph. So this axis, the downward axis, this is known as x-axis, and this top one is known as y-axis. So in x-axis we have taken time, and in y-axis we have taken distance. So this graph is known as distance time graph. So whenever you will plot the distance time graph, you will get a straight line from the origin like this. Okay, the straight line will come from the origin like this whenever the distance time graph will be plotted like this. So time you have to take in x-axis over there time, and distance will be taken in the y-axis. Then a straight line you will get from the origin. Your next graph is for velocity and time graph. In this, again you have to take time in the x-axis and velocity in the y-axis. Then you will get a straight line parallel to the x-axis like this. Okay, you will get a straight line parallel to the x-axis whenever you will plot a graph for velocity and time. So this was all about the chapter motion. I hope you all have understood. If you have any doubt, you can ask me in the comment section. I will try to clear your doubt. And if you want any more information related to this chapter, then also I will help you out. Any numericals or something if you want, then I will try to clear your doubt. One numerical I want to discuss with you. It's given in your textbook. That's why I want to discuss with you. I will discuss it. Wait. Suppose one question is there in your textbook in page number 94, that an object moves from point A to B in a circular path. This is the diagram given. It is a circular path. Okay, an object will move from point A to B. Like this, it will move from A to B. Okay, this path it will follow. Of radius 7 meter. And what is the radius of this circle? 7 meter. Radius is the point from the origin to its circumference. So this is your 7 meter. Radius is 7 meter given in the question. What is the distance travel and what is the displacement? In this question we have to find the distance also as well as the displacement also. For example, displacement, what we have read, displacement is the shortest distance, length of the shortest distance. Suppose a person is moving from A to B, then this will be the distance. This is the actual path. And what will be the shortest distance for going from point A to point B? This will be the shortest distance, right? So what will be the displacement for us? This is the radius. From this point to this point it is the radius, and this point to this point it is called what for the circle? Diameter. So displacement is equal to diameter, right? And what is the formula to calculate diameter? Diameter is equal to 2 into radius. Radius is given over there, so diameter will be 2 into 7. That is 14 meter. So your displacement will be 14 meter in this case. Now, displacement we have calculated. It is the shortest distance, so it was easy for us because the radius has already been given in the question. This is the radius given in the question. Till here to here it is radius, and from here to here it is the diameter. So 7 plus 7 is also 14. Like that also you can do. Next we have to calculate the distance. Means for going from this path to this path, this is our distance. So this is the circle. This is semicircle, right? This is half of the circle, so it is called semicircle. So what is the formula for calculating the circumference? Means for calculating the bond circumference means the outer boundary of the circle. So how we used to calculate the circumference? 2 pi r. Okay, right? For full circle it is 2 pi r. But for half circle what we will do? We will multiply that 2 pi r with half. That will be for the semicircle, because this part only we need. We don't need the full circle. So distance is equal to half into circumference. So what is the formula for circumference? 2 pi r, right? Half into 2. What is the value of pi? 22 by 7, and radius was 7. 7 you can cancel it out. 2 will be cancel it out. You will left with 22 meter. So your distance is 22 meter and displacement is 14 meter. So students, I finished the chapter. If you have any doubt, you can comment in the comment section. The question answers of this chapter I will upload, and the numericals which are given in the exercise, that also I will explain when I will upload the chapter, when I will upload the video for the exercise portion. And if go through the textbook, read the textbook once and understand through the video also, go through the video once. Then also if you have any doubt, comment in the comment section. I will try to clear your doubt. Okay. Thank you for watching my channel, and if you liked it, please click on the like button and share it with your friends also. Don't forget to click on the bell icon so that whenever I will be uploading a new video, you'll get the notification for that. And if you're new to my channel, then please subscribe to it, and you can also connect with me through my Facebook page. The link I will provide in the description box. Thank you for watching my channel.